This is Dan Dicks here reporting for Press for Truth. And as you can tell by the title of this video, today we're going to be asking the question, is gold on the brink of entering into a new golden era? Well, if you consider the current mainstream view of this, it seems that currently people are a little uninterested, and the sentiment indicators for this precious metal are suggesting that it's now at a 3-year low, despite the fact that it had all-time highs just in last August. So the question is this cause for concern? Well, joining me on the line right now to help us understand all of this is Raina Vig. He's the CEO of Blue Lagoon Resources. BlueLagoonResources.com is the website. Raina, thanks so much for joining us here once again on Press for Truth to help us understand this stuff. Now, I want to talk about the company, get a follow-up from you on the last interview we did and see where we're at now. But before we get into that, what are your thoughts on the current interest in the state of gold, considering the sentiment indicators are saying it's low? Why do you think this is? Is it because of interest rates going up? Is this due to inflation rising? And I suppose more importantly, is there cause for concern?
Well, yeah. Thanks first of all, Dan, for having me. I appreciate it. Look, I think it's a number of factors that you just mentioned, and mostly I think it's just the market sentiment shifts, right? And the people, have this herd mentality, and they start to follow. And one of the things I think has taken a little bit of the wind out of the sails, if you like, of gold is all this cryptocurrency craze that was happening. And will it stay? Will it not? I mean, who's to know? But as you know, it's very, very volatile. But I just know one basic thing, right? Gold's been around for thousands of years. It's been considered, so the backbone of currency. It really is, what the money is all about, and just common sense, right? Look, I'm not that smart, okay? You just have to take a step back and take a look at it. When there's billions and billions, and forget billions, a new word these days, trillions, when there's trillions and trillions of dollars being printed, not just in US or Canada, but I mean worldwide, how can that not devalue? And it's not even that the gold's going up, it's that the money is becoming worth not very much. So naturally the price of gold looks like it's going higher. And so that's one point. And secondly, I don't worry that much about the price. 1,700 gold. Junior miners like us, we'll take that all day long. People forget that it was just 1,350 or 1,400 just a couple of years ago. So ultimately it's a business, in terms of a mining operation, anyways, right? And that's extremely profitable. So people shouldn't get so caught up in this. Which way is the wind blowing? Because unfortunately, people always make buying and selling decisions at the wrong time. They always buy when they shouldn't be buying, and they always sell when they shouldn't be selling, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good point, because if you just look to last year, gold was having a really great year. And as you said, 2021 seems to have shifted. A lot of people are protecting their assets through cryptocurrencies. So with that kind of awesome moment we had in 2020, is that going to be sustainable moving into 2021, as you said, as it competes with crypto?
Well, I think, I mean, crypto is an interesting, right? I mean, it's so new. I mean, look what happened when the last time it ran to 19,000, and then it came crashing back down to 4. Now it's had another run because people like Elon Musk and are tweeting it out or talking about it. So the market, the sentiment changes. But I don't know. I don't understand it enough. I don't feel comfortable about putting my money into that and try to preserve my wealth. I think the more important is to preserve wealth and try to make money. You got to save money. You got to make sure you don't lose any money.
Mm-hmm.
That's the number one rule that I have, anyways. Now, right? So,
Yeah.
I think gold and silver. I mean, it's very difficult to go wrong in that, given the current economic climate, the macro picture around the world. And I'm not, by the way, speaking to you as a gold bug, right? I know people hear this all the time and they're talking about this, and people saying, well, they've been talking about gold going to 5,000, 10,000 for years. I'm not coming from that camp. I'm looking at strictly and I'm not a miner, I'm not a geologist or engineer. I'm a businessman, I'm an entrepreneur, right? So I'm looking at it from strictly a business perspective to see, where is the price at? Is it sustainable? I buy on the dips. I'm buying currently right now. I'm buying some gold because I just think it makes sense. Where it's at right now.
So you're clearly bullish on it. Is it safe to say? Would you suggest that in 2021 we're still currently in a bull market in the precious metal space?
Oh, I think we're just beginning. I think, you can't, look, investing isn't for the faint hearted, right? I mean, there are ups and downs. That just happens, but you have to look at the long term, chart and what happens. This is not a trade. This is not a day trade. You are investing, you are preserving wealth, so you have to take a little bit of a longer term horizon. So absolutely, I think that 2021 is going to be a great year, and not worry about the week to week, day to day, and week to week gyrations of the market.
Well, that's what you guys have been doing at Blue Lagoon Resources. So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's look in terms of your market cap right now. Where are you in terms of market cap, and what would you say would be a near-term catalyst that would excite investors to see that market cap grow?
Sure. We're, I believe, very undervalued. We're sitting at around 35, 36 million Canadian. Now, we're a little up today. The stock actually went up about 10%, today, probably because I've been doing a lot of meetings. There's a Swiss mining conference happening right now. I've been talking to a lot of educated people who are looking at the story and have agreed with me so far. All the meetings I've done today saying that, they believe that we are undervalued. But we're sitting at around 35, 36 million. The catalyst, very simple, right? There's two key things to our project, right? We're very unique in that we already have a mining permit and an environmental permit, all the permits that are required to put this back into production. The only reason, Dan, that this project is not in production is because I got a little bit lucky. A few months ago, I came across this project, and the previous owners literally got this thing to the 99-yard line, and they ran out of time. They spent $28 million on this project, on infrastructure development and permitting. It takes 20 years in British Columbia to get a permit. An average is 14. So we already have that. So they spent all that money doing that. And then unfortunately, they're 83 years old and not in the best of health. So they ran out of time. And along I came. The budget is only $2 million. I've already deployed that. We have a healthy treasury. I still have just under $5 million in treasury, and we have no debt. So what people will look for is to say, how close are we to making this mine into production? Well, I believe we're very close. There were 3 amendments that had to be done. 2 of them are already complete as of last week. The last one will be completed in April. And I believe we'll be in a production decision scenario by the end of summer or early fall.
And is the 2 million to be spent on exploration in 2021, or is there more than that?
There's more than that. So the 2 million that I just talked about was just to put the final touches on getting the mine into production. We just embarked on a 20,000 meter drill program, which is the biggest ever done on this property, and that's going to cost about $4 million. We're already a million and change already into that, and that's why I said we have roughly 5 million still in treasury. So I have all the money I need currently to deploy, to execute on my plan, to finish the drill program, to put the mine into production. We have in late April to early May, we have about 7,000 tons of mineralized material sitting in the mine. We have now permission to take that out. That'll be going out to the mill and getting that processed. So that's going to be 1,500 ounces plus of gold there. So that's going to reload into the treasury. And we have warrants. We have nearly $5 million worth of warrants that are in the money. So I'm very, very fortunate, very blessed. We're in a very unique situation with this company right now.
Well, yeah, you have no debt. You're very, very well positioned moving forward. Seems you got all your ducks already lined up in a row. Where are these properties right now that you're talking about?
Yeah, so these are in northern British Columbia, and by a town just outside a town known as Smithers. It's about 6,000 people. It's a perfect size town to support the mining infrastructure. And we are a short 50-minute drive, less than an hour drive to the site all year round, which is great because that's how I've been able to retain incredible people, because people, especially senior people who for years and years work for very big mining companies. They don't want to go to Alaska, and they don't want to go to somewhere where they got to live in camps. So these people live right outside of Smithers, right in the town there, and so I've been able to really retain a great team to help me put this product into production. And by the way, just to add to the earlier comment, how I believe this is undervalued. You may have seen a a few weeks ago, I news released, I personally added another 1 million shares to my personal share position, and I bought more in the market. So, that's why I believe that we're just in the beginning, in my opinion, of the discovery curve. And I think we have a long ways to go.
Okay, awesome. And how do you de-risk the intent that just the speculative nature of the business? I mean, it's yet to produce revenue, and
Yep.
at what actions are going to generate value for the shareholder? Because as I said, right now the climate is kind of it's weird right now. People are kind of, I don't know how you put it, bored with it. How do you explain this, and how do we get out of that?
Yeah, look, definitely there is obviously risk, and everyone should do their own due diligence, and don't just listen to me because I bought a million, added a 1 million share position, right? That just shows you my belief, right? Me and my family and my 5 or 6 of my closest friends have now $2.2 million into this company. So obviously we believe in it, and I'm not doing this to move this up, by a percent or two, right?
Right.
The reason I believe in it is that junior exploration mining companies like us that have good projects and have good management, right? Those are the two key things when you're talking about de-risking it, right? That's what you want to look at, is management vested, right? As the guy written his own checks into the company, as I have, right? And also the track record. I mean, look, I'm as I said earlier, I'm not a mining necessarily a guy. I'm not a miner or a geologist or engineer. I'm an entrepreneur, right? My last 2 deals had nothing to do with mining. Right, they were actually in the cannabis space, believe it or not. In 2018, I got into mining, by the way, in 2011, and got my rear end kicked because the mining industry collapsed. But I took over mining companies at that time. 6 years I spent in the mining sector, learning about the trade, learning about mining, surrounding myself up, with people who are way brighter than I am. And then in 2018, when the mining still wasn't turning, as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to learn how to shift. Right, and I laser beam focused on that sector. I took 2 of the biggest companies ever in Canada public in that sector, Curaleaf, which was a $6 billion, nearly a $6 billion RTO, $520 million capital raise, still trades today at $20. It's a $12 billion market cap company today. And I took Harvest Health and Rec, public, which was a $300 million raise and a $2 billion market cap, an RTO, which was the 3rd largest. Trades today at just under $5 and nearly $1 billion. So, those are successes that I'm now taking into the next sector. And now I'm focusing back to where I started in the capital markets in mining, because I believe everything I'm reading in the big picture around the world is telling me that precious metals, the super cycle, is beginning. Mm-hmm. It's been a long time that mining's been out of favor, and it is beginning, including copper, by the way. We have also a great copper property that's sitting in our portfolio that I'm going to monetize. So, I look at these things from a business perspective, from an entrepreneurial perspective, right? And last thought I'll give you on this, in this point, most people make the mistake. Remember, cannabis ran up and then it collapsed. So Curaleaf, for example, went to $15 and went all the way back to $4. Well, when everybody was selling, I was buying more, right? Because the $4 was the time to buy. And guess what? Now it's at 20. And I believe it's just starting. I believe it's got a long runway yet. So people, unfortunately, buy at the wrong time and sell at the wrong time. Mm-hmm. So what you want to do is do your own due diligence and look for management teams that are successful and projects that have merit.
Awesome. And see, this is why you've been around for so long and are still successful, because you've been able to wade through those dips and scales. And you mentioned cannabis. I recall first getting interested in gold when it was actually less expensive than cannabis. I remember it must have been the late 90s, early 2000s. Don't quote me on that, but I recall an ounce of cannabis was going for around $220 and an ounce of gold was going for around $200. And I remember thinking, wow, what a great time to get in on gold. I didn't have a whole lot of capital at that time, yes. But I always knew that this is a good time, this is a good price. And then I started seeing calamities coming in the US, certain issues in the Middle East, certain things that could lead towards a dollar crash. So I started getting more bullish on gold and also starting to accumulate at those lower prices. And I'm glad I did, because I still see the world going towards a troubling place that may see a crash of the dollar, that could lead to the rise, a gold spike, a new era for gold. So I'm happy to be involved. I'm glad to have you guys on to help understand and explain the ebb and flows of this incredible space. Where can people go online? Where's the best place for them to go to learn more about Blue Lagoon Resources and maybe learn more from you directly?
Yeah, best is to come to our website, bluelagoonresources.com. There's an email link there. They can email me. I'm a very engaged CEO. I like to talk to my shareholders. I answer all calls, all emails. It may take me a little bit because of the volume, but I will eventually get back to them. And yeah, happy to answer, be transparent and answer whatever I can to help them.
Perfect. All right. Well, I strongly encourage everybody to check it out. Links are located in the description below, guys. Check it out. Do your due diligence. Look into this, and I think you probably find some of the same things I've found, which is why I wanted to have you on here today, sir. So once again, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
We all want truth. The truth will set you free.